Yo, it finally happened. After months of silence, cryptic posts, and the streets buzzing with theories, Gunna has finally broken his silence on the Young Thug case, and what he said got everybody talking. Fans are shocked, industry insiders are scrambling, and even Thug's own family don't know how to feel right now. This ain't no regular "I wish him well" type of statement. Nah, this was raw, emotional, and laced with tension. And depending on how you read between the lines, it might even be a subtle confession or a carefully crafted cover-up. Remember when Gunna took that plea deal and the internet branded him a snitch overnight? Folks said he left Thug hanging, that he chose freedom over loyalty. But now, he's stepping back into the spotlight, ready to clear his name or stir up even more controversy. In a surprise interview, Gunna addressed everything: the plea, the betrayal rumors, and even a secret phone call that allegedly happened between him and Thug behind the scenes. And y'all, it's messy. Like real messy. But before we dive into what he said, who's mad and who's got receipts, buckle up, because this story, it's not just about music. It's about trust, survival, and a friendship that might never be the same again. When Gunna finally broke his silence, it wasn't in a tweet. It wasn't a vague caption or a mysterious photo. It was a full-on sit-down interview. No script, no manager in the background, no media training polish. Just him, a mic, and a story that had been boiling for over a year. And the way he told it, it wasn't just confession, it was war. The interview dropped out of nowhere on a random Thursday night. Within minutes, the internet was on fire. Fans who had spent months calling Gunna a rat, a sellout, a fake, were suddenly facing a new version of the truth. And this version, it wasn't easy to digest. The first few seconds of the video were enough to make anyone stop scrolling. Gunna sat in silence for a moment, hands clasped, eyes low. When he finally spoke, his voice cracked. "I wasn't supposed to talk, but too much has been said, and not enough has been real." He dove right into it. "I took the plea," he said, "but not because I turned on anybody. Not because I wanted out. I took the plea because I was fighting for my life, literally. They put me in a box and told me I had no way out. And nobody was coming to save me." Fans were immediately divided. Some said he was just trying to save face. Others said the pain in his voice was undeniable. But it was what came next that flipped everything upside down. Gunna claimed he and Young Thug spoke privately while both were still locked up. "We talked. It wasn't on no recorded line, and I won't say who made it happen. But we talked, and I told him straight up, if you want me to sit, I'll sit, but I need to know we're good." He paused, and he said we're good. He told me, "I know your heart. Do what you gotta do." That single quote sent shockwaves through the entire culture. If true, it meant everything the internet had been saying. That Gunna betrayed Thug, that he ratted, that he left his brother behind, was either completely wrong or way more complicated than it seemed. But the drama didn't stop there. Gunna continued, saying that after he got out, things changed. People stopped answering. Calls went dead. Folks I put on, folks I fed, acting like they don't know me now, like I'm poison. He leaned forward, visibly emotional. "It ain't even about the internet. It's the silence from the people who said they loved me." Emotions ran high as he began naming names. Not directly, but the hints were clear. He talked about Atlanta snakes, studio ghosts, and one man who stood next to me for years, but wouldn't stand up when I needed him most. Fans immediately began dissecting every line, trying to match lyrics to people. Then came the real twist. A voice memo played, one that Gunna claimed had been sent to him from someone inside the YSL camp. The voice, while distorted, clearly said, he did what he had to do. It was either that or the whole ship go down. You can't blame him for surviving. Gunna let the recording play twice. "This is what y'all ain't hearing," he said. "Not everything is what it seems. The streets got rules. But even the streets bend when the storm hits hard enough." Just when the video seemed to slow down, another bomb dropped. Gunna revealed that his mother had been receiving threats. They put notes in her mailbox. "Told her I was a disgrace. That Thug wouldn't make it 'cause of me. Y'all really think that's what this is? Y'all think I'd sleep at night if I did that to my brother?" His voice cracked again. "This ain't rap beef. This is real life. This is pain." The backlash to those threats was swift. Fans started calling out the culture for going too far. "We want the truth, not trauma," one tweet read. "Y'all forgot these are real people with real families." But still, others remained unconvinced. They said Gunna was using sympathy to dodge accountability. "He's crying now. one post read. But he walked free while Thug sat. Ain't no interview fixing that. And just when people thought they had heard it all, the contract leak happened. An anonymous insider sent documents to a blog showing that Gunna's deal included a post-release clause, one that guaranteed him protection, silence, and a payout if he avoided public statements about the case. But he broke that clause with this interview. Why? Because the silence is killing me, Gunna said. Everybody eating off my name. Blog headlines, fake friends, fake beefs, fake loyalty. And I sat with it, hoping it would go away. But it didn't, it got louder. So here I am. Meanwhile, fans weren't the only ones reacting. Several artists, some close to both Gunna and Thug, started posting cryptic messages. One wrote, "This game dirty." Another tweeted, "Ain't no loyalty in survival mode." But the post that really shook people came from Thug's own sister, who simply posted, "Loyalty has a receipt, and we still waiting for his." Gunna didn't respond to her directly, but he did say this, "I get it. You're hurt. I'm hurt too. But don't let pain turn into poison. Ask questions. Listen to the whole story before you write the ending." The tension between personal survival and loyalty to the crew had never been clearer, and while some were starting to see Gunna's side, others were doubling down against him. Hashtags like Schwarm Free Young Thug and Schwarf Gunna Explains started trending at the same time, creating a divide that only seemed to grow by the hour. The final minutes of the interview ended with a chilling statement. Gunna looked directly into the camera and said, "There's things I can't say. Not yet, but trust me, the whole story ain't out. And when it comes out, some of y'all gonna owe me an apology." Fade to black. Gonna owe me an apology. Fade to black. But this is just the beginning. Right after the interview, new leaks began popping up. Audio files, text messages, even a rumored second phone call between Gunna and Thug's lawyer. And what's in those messages? As soon as the screen faded to black after Gunna's interview, the internet wasn't just on fire. It was in full-blown meltdown mode. Reactions poured in from all sides. Fans weren't just commenting, they were investigating. TikTok detectives started zooming in on the background of the interview. Reddit threads went viral overnight trying to identify who might have leaked the distorted voice memo he played. Was it legit, or was Gunna staging the moment to earn back sympathy? Meanwhile, within an hour of the interview dropping, a mystery file surfaced online. An anonymous Twitter account, using an old YSL tour photo as the profile picture, posted a voice note with the caption, "You want to talk loyalty? Tell them about the call with the lawyer." That's when part 2 of the firestorm began. In the leaked voice note, a man, allegedly one of Young Thug's lawyers, can be heard speaking on the phone with someone believed to be close to Gunna. The voice said, "We never told him to take that plea. We told him to wait. We told him to hold tight, but he made his own move." That one line, whether real or fake, flipped the energy all over again. If true, it meant the entire foundation of Gunna's defense, Thug said we good, could be shaky. And if it was fake, it meant someone was planting evidence to destroy his already fragile comeback. Fans were torn. One viral tweet read, "If the lawyer's tape is real, Gunna lied to our faces on camera. If it's fake, someone is trying to frame him on a whole new level. Either way, this is deeper than we thought." At the same time, behind the scenes, more chaos was unfolding. An insider close to Thug's team leaked that the Weissel camp was in total disarray after the interview. Apparently, there were already internal tensions about who could be trusted and who might have been cooperating under the table. One source even claimed, "There's at least 3 people who were riding for both sides, and now everybody's scrambling to separate themselves." Translation: Gunna speaking publicly might have lit a fuse that was connected to more than just music. And then came the reaction from someone nobody expected, Lil Baby. For months, he had remained eerily quiet about Gunna, even as fans begged for a comment, a lyric, a subtweet. But the night after the interview, Lil Baby dropped a 24-second Instagram story, showing him in the studio, nodding to a beat with the caption, "Real ones move in silence. Always have, always will. No name, no direct shade." But everybody knew what it meant. The fan base lit up like fireworks. "Baby just threw Gunna in the trash without saying a word," one post read. "Atlanta choosing sides for real now," said another. The pressure on Gunna doubled overnight. His silence had bought him time before, but now that he spoke, everyone was reacting and few were offering grace. Meanwhile, on Clubhouse, a room hosted by industry insiders titled Gunna versus the culture, betrayal or survival. Hit over 60,000 listeners in one night. Bloggers, former YSL affiliates, even distant family members of people involved in the case were jumping in, each with their own version of the truth. One former producer for both Gunna and Thug said, "I seen them boys hug each other like family. And now we out here debating if one of them sold the other out. It hurts to even talk about." But the drama didn't stop at the music industry. It spilled into their personal circles. Gunna's older cousin, Malik, took to Facebook Live and delivered a tearful 10-minute rant. "You're dragging my family name like we some weak links, like we don't got morals. I was there when them boys started from nothing, and now the world calling my lil cousin a rat like he don't got a heart. Y'all sick." The video quickly gained traction, with many sympathizing, but others accusing the family of trying to emotionally manipulate the public. One tweet even said, "Why every time someone snitches they roll out the crying cousin?" The internet, brutal as ever, showed no signs of backing down. On the flip side, people close to Thug began pushing a quiet but powerful message. Real ones don't talk, they stand tall. Word spread that Thug's mother had told close friends, "He don't want drama. He want truth. He want loyalty. That's it." Those words echoed in group chats and hip-hop forums. It became the unofficial motto of the anti-Gunna crowd. And just as the online war peaked, a massive twist hit. A clip surfaced from 2022, an unreleased documentary teaser from a major streaming platform, featuring behind-the-scenes footage of YSL's final tour before the arrests. In the clip, Gunna and Thug are seen backstage. Thug turns to Gunna and says, loud and clear, "If anything ever go down, I got you. You know that, right?" Gunna nods, emotional. Same here. The clip was emotional, raw, and heartbreaking in hindsight. One fan commented, "This is the saddest part. They really loved each other. This ain't just about snitching. It's about watching brotherhood fall apart." But as the clip gained traction, a new hashtag began to rise. Both victims. Fans started wondering, what if this wasn't black and white? What if the system played both of them? What if the street codes they lived by were set up to destroy them from the start? But not everyone was ready to forgive. The final twist of part 2 came from a major figure in Atlanta's rap scene, OG Mako. He took to Twitter Spaces and said, "Everybody got excuses now." But when it was time to sit down and hold it together, Gunna chose daylight. He ain't break a code, he broke a bond. His statement went viral. Even though OG Mako isn't directly tied to YSL, his words echoed what many in the streets were thinking. That this wasn't just about legal moves, it was about emotional betrayals that cut deeper than any court document. By the end of that week, the line between support and condemnation had never been more blurry. You had people wearing Free Thug hoodies while streaming Gunna's music. You had radio DJs refusing to play his new records, while Spotify charts showed them climbing. Even the media couldn't decide which side to be on. Half the headlines called him brave, the other half called him broken. And in the middle of all this, Gunna posted a black screen to his Instagram story with 3 words. "More coming soon." What more could there possibly be? According to sources close to Gunna, part 2 of his statement may involve exposing internal conversations between legal teams, label execs, and people he once called family. There's even talk that another voice memo exists, one with Thug allegedly acknowledging that certain people around them were already working with the other side. If that's true, everything changes again. But whether that tape is real or another setup remains to be seen. What's clear is this: the line between truth and strategy is blurred. And with the entire culture watching, every move from here on out will either redeem Gunna or bury him. And just when you think things can't get more complicated, part 3 starts, with an uninvited voice from the past stepping into the conversation. And what she reveals will leave the internet shattered. The internet was already on edge, dissecting every breath, every quote, every shaky eye movement from Gunna's interview when the most unexpected voice entered the conversation. And when she spoke, the entire narrative took a wild, emotional turn. Her name. Brielle. Fans of YSL and Atlanta's underground scene might remember her. She wasn't just any ex. Brielle was Young Thug's longtime on and off girlfriend, the one who was there during the mixtape days, who got name-dropped in a few early verses, and who always stayed out of the spotlight. But out of nowhere, she hopped on Instagram Live at 2:36 a.m., No makeup, no filter, no warning. I wasn't gonna say nothing, she began, holding back tears. But you're really out here acting like this ain't deeper than rap. Like this ain't personal. Within minutes, over 100,000 people were watching, and what she said next changed everything. When Jeff Thug got locked up, there were only 3 people he asked about on that first call, she said. His mama, his lawyer, and Gunna. That boy loved him like a brother, so imagine how it felt when the plea deal hit and we all saw the footage before he even called. Fans were frozen. Brielle wasn't a blogger or an industry mouthpiece. She had been inside the house, at the dinners, in the studio sessions. And now, she was painting a picture of betrayal that didn't come from rumors. It came from the heart. He ain't cry when they put cuffs on him, she continued. But the day the video of Gunna in court dropped, he didn't talk to nobody for hours. He just sat there, stared at the wall, like he'd been shot in the chest. The comments exploded. She's telling the truth. You can hear the pain in her voice. This ain't snitching anymore. This is heartbreak. And yet, not everyone was convinced. Some fans accused Brielle of clout chasing. One commenter wrote, "She quiet all this time. Now she crying on live when Gunna doing numbers." Another said, "These women always show up when the story going viral." But Brielle had receipts. Brielle had receipts. She pulled out an old iPhone and read a text from Thug dated just 2 days before the court footage leaked. "Tell Gunna I love him. Tell him to stay strong. We gon' beat this." And then another text from a week later. "Guess he made his choice." Brielle broke down crying. "That was the moment Jeff knew it was over," she whispered. Not the case, not the label, the bond, the brotherhood. But then came the unexpected twist. Brielle revealed that she had spoken to Gunna, not recently, but weeks after his release, and what he told her stunned even her. He said, "I waited for a sign. I waited for somebody to say something, but it never came. They left me in there like I was disposable." So now, fans were left stuck in the middle of a story with 2 truths that couldn't coexist. Truth 1. Gunna felt abandoned and trapped, believing that silence meant betrayal. Truth 2. Thug felt stunned and heartbroken, watching his closest friend take a deal before the team could strategize together. Who was right? And more importantly, who was lying? As if things weren't messy enough, another blow landed, this time from the label. A document leaked, showing a private meeting between 300 Entertainment and YSL's legal reps, just days before Gunna's plea was accepted. In the notes, it clearly mentioned Gunna's camp considering plea, concern about optics with Thug's image, discussions ongoing. The doc, while unofficial, added weight to the theory that people around Gunna might have been moving without full transparency. Then, almost too perfectly timed, another clip surfaced. This time, it was from a studio vlog taken just a month before the arrests. Gunna and Thug are joking around, playing unreleased tracks. Thug turns to the camera and says, "We locked in. Nothing can split this. We done been through fire." Fans reposted the clip with captions like, "Fire came," and they split. This hit harder than any diss track. Loyalty ain't loyalty till it's tested. At the same time, media outlets picked their sides. Some called Brielle's live emotional blackmail. Others called it the rawest truth we've seen. Yet, industry insiders began quietly admitting that there were more fractures in the YSL family than fans ever knew. A close associate of both rappers even went as far as to say, Gunna and Thug had love. But love don't always survive pressure, especially when there's millions, freedom, and silence on the line. Just when things seemed to be cooling down, another shot was fired. An unreleased diss track, allegedly recorded by young Thug from inside, was leaked on SoundCloud for a few hours before being taken down. The lyrics were hard to ignore. "Thought you was fam, turns out you a fan. I gave you the plan, you ran with the man." Fans instantly believed it was aimed at Gunna. Some called it confirmation. Others said it was old. A few speculated it wasn't even Thug's voice, that it was AI. But one thing was clear. Tensions were no longer private. This was war in the open. Gunna didn't respond. Not directly. But 2 days later, he posted a clip of himself in the studio. The caption? "Truth don't flinch. No music, no diss. Just those 3 words." And just like that, the silence became louder than any beat. In Atlanta, insiders claimed that crews close to both camps were quietly distancing themselves from the drama. One club promoter said off record, "We had to cancel a whole set last minute. People getting nervous. They don't want the tension turning real." Meanwhile, fans noticed a subtle but emotional change on both rappers' social media accounts. Gunna unfollowed everyone except 2 producers. Thug's team archived every post except the free YSL messages. Even the Spotify profiles looked different. No features, no linked playlists. Like both men were preparing to stand alone. And then came the emotional gut punch. Brielle returned to live one more time. This time calmer. But colder. I said my truth, she said. But after what I seen in the past week, I realize now, maybe they both lost. Maybe this system don't just break bonds. Maybe it breaks spirits. Maybe they both were sacrificed for a game they didn't make the rules to. Her final words, I hope they both heal. I hope one day they talk. But don't ask me to pick sides anymore. I'm done. And with that, the live ended. And so did the last thread connecting the emotional center of this drama to the outside world. Part 3 ends with both camps silent again, fans exhausted, the internet still arguing, the pain deeper, the story heavier, and the bond possibly broken beyond repair. But there's still one more part, because just when it felt like everything had been said, an unexpected third party enters the picture. Someone who isn't from Atlanta, someone who isn't loyal to either side, someone with everything to gain by exposing both of them. And what he brings to the table could blow the lid off this entire story. Just when fans thought the story was winding down, when it seemed like all the heartbreak had been exposed and every secret spilled, a new name entered the chaos. And it wasn't someone from Atlanta. It wasn't someone from YSL. It wasn't even someone anyone expected to still be paying attention. It was 6699. Yep, Tekashi 6699, the self-declared king of trolling, the one who had his own high-profile snitching scandal, who'd been exiled from street rap, and who had seemingly vanished after his own legal drama. And now, he was back, and he came with receipts. On a Sunday afternoon, 6699 posted a single, jaw-dropping clip to his Instagram stories. The caption, "He ain't tell yet? Lol, I got something for y'all." The clip? A screen recording of a FaceTime call with someone fans believe was close to both Gunna and Thug, talking about a third plea deal that was never made public. And in that video, the person said, they already offered the whole thing to Gunna first. They told him if he flipped early, they'd reduce Thug's charges. But he said no, for 3 months straight. Then when he saw Thug wasn't going to beat the case, he changed his tune. Boom, another twist. If true, it suggested Gunna didn't take the deal immediately, that he tried to hold out, and maybe only took the plea after losing faith in the system or communication breaking down. But 6699 didn't stop there, he went live. Of course he did. And in the live, watched by over 300,000 people, 6699 said this: "They tried to cancel me. They said I broke the code, but your favorite rappers, same thing, just better at hiding it. At least I kept it real." Gunna over here doing interviews crying like that makes it better. Bro, you played the same game. Own it. The comments were chaos. Fans who had once mocked 6699 for snitching were suddenly forced to confront their double standards. So when 6699 does it, it's corny. But when Gunna does it, it's strategy. He low-key got a point. 6699 just hijacked the whole Gunna versus Thug beef. And then came the final nail. 6699 posted a screenshot of what appeared to be a DMS exchange between him and someone from Gunna's old management team. In it, the manager allegedly said, "We begged him to stay silent. He didn't listen. He was tired of being the villain. He wanted the streets to love him again. Now it's too late." Within minutes, Gunna's team denied it all. They issued a short statement. "We have not communicated with or authorized any contact with Daniel Hernandez, 6699. Anything posted is fabricated. The focus remains on music and healing, but the damage, already done." What 6699 did wasn't just drop gossip. He cracked open the last wall standing between Gunna and the streets. Now, people weren't just questioning whether Gunna snitched. They were wondering if he lied about when and why, and worse, whether he was ever telling the truth at all. The response from Thug's side was quiet. Too quiet. Insiders say his legal team was furious behind the scenes, trying to shut down leaks and prepare for trial. One anonymous source said, "Every time Gunna opens his mouth, it complicates things for Thug." These statements, these interviews, they could be used in court. And now, with 6699 poking the fire, the risk got even higher. The risk got even higher. At the same time, something weird started happening in the music industry. Gunna's upcoming tour got quietly postponed in 2 cities. A festival pulled his name from their lineup. Blogs claimed it was due to scheduling. But insiders hinted at something darker: security concerns, and a growing discomfort with how public the beef had become. One promoter, off the record, said, "We ain't trying to be the venue where some YSL affiliate shows up and it turns into a movie. It's not worth it." Even behind the scenes, the energy shifted. Artists who were once open to collaborating with Gunna now reportedly pulled back. Producers stopped posting studio pics. Public cosigns became rare. It felt like, in real time, the industry was freezing him out. Not because of a guilty verdict, but because of public perception. Still, not everybody abandoned him. A few new school artists began speaking out in support. One up-and-coming rapper, known for staying out of drama, tweeted, "I seen too many fake friends switch on Gunna like they forgot what he did for Atlanta. Loyalty ain't just about charges, it's about what you see behind closed doors. And I seen enough." His post went viral, but it was another post from a fan account that really summed up the moment. Maybe Gunna didn't snitch the way they said. Maybe Thug didn't get betrayed the way we think. Maybe the whole system wants us to pick sides, so we don't realize they both got played. By the time part 4 reached its end, the situation had reached critical mass. Emotions were high, truths were buried under headlines, and everyone had their own version of what loyalty, betrayal, and brotherhood looked like. So where do we stand? Gunna, isolated but still defiant. Thug, silent but reportedly heartbroken. The streets divided. Some say it's over for Gunna, others say he deserves a second chance. The industry, watching closely, scared to speak. 6ix9ine, grinning like the devil in the middle of a storm he didn't start, but absolutely made worse. And the fans, they're still asking the same question: who really told? Who really flipped? And most importantly, can this bond ever be repaired? In the next chapter, we wrap up the full saga with all the emotion, all the consequences, and all the unanswered questions that are still haunting this situation. And trust us, there's still one more surprise before we close this book. So now we're here, 4 parts deep, countless leaks, emotional breakdowns, voice notes, exes, industry shakeups, and even Tekashi 6ix9ine crawling out the shadows to stir the pot. And yet, even with all that, we still don't have the full truth. What we do have: a fractured brotherhood, a rap legacy hanging by a thread, and a fanbase more divided than ever before. Gunna came out swinging, raw, emotional, and unfiltered. But in doing so, he may have pulled the last thread holding the YSL family together. Young Thug, once silent, now surrounded by people speaking for him, but still not with him. And 6ix9ine, he made sure nobody left this saga without a second thought. But the biggest question still remains: what happens next? Does Gunna's career survive the storm? Or is the silence from his peers louder than any lyric he drops? Will Young Thug address this directly? Or will he let the streets write the ending to their story? And are we, as fans, fueling a fire that was already burning from within? This isn't just about music anymore. This is about loyalty, legacy, and the price of silence. This is about what happens when brotherhood is tested under the weight of the system, the streets, and the spotlight. And now it's your turn to weigh in. Drop a comment right now. Do you believe Gunna betrayed Young Thug? Was his interview a necessary truth or a desperate move to clear his name? And most importantly, do you think this friendship can ever be repaired? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next twist. Because in this story, trust me, there's always one more. See you all in the comments. Stay tuned, stay messy, stay woke. Messy, stay woke.